Hey, how's it going, everybody? Welcome to Midnite Snax. I'm your host, Dan from Mandarine. Joining me, as always, is...
Leon Core.
And Funky Mark. What's up, boners?
Not too much. It's Valentine's Day, and I'm single, as usual.
Yeah, me too.
You know,
Same goes here, buddy.
In the past, I normally get bummed out about this because my mom will, like, send me a Valentine's card and buy me a donut or something. But this year, I just don't give a fuck, and it feels kind of good, actually, to, like, I want to find somebody. Don't get me wrong, I'm lonely as hell. But, I'm pretty happy with my life right now. Like, I know what I want, so... What about you guys? What do you think about Valentine's Day?
Oh, God.
Is it a Hallmark holiday?
No, I detest it. I mean, throughout my life, I've only been in one relationship and been single the past 3 years, so it's just been kind of lonely fest every weekend. I think the past 3 years, I've just been spending my weekends, like, eating pizza, drinking milkshakes.
Yeah. That's what I did today.
Drowning my sorrows in that shit. So, like, that's my deal.
You're not alone. You're not alone. Well, you are alone, but you're not alone in the fact that,
the feels, man.
Doing that. What about you, Leon? You dating somebody from YouTube yet?
All right, we're not going to start this. Not on me. All right, don't put me in the limelight.
Well, okay, we want to talk about relationships tonight because it's appropriate and there's some topical stuff going on. Shay Carl, the family man vlogger, one of the biggest family vloggers on YouTube, was exposed last night. Apparently, what's been going on is he's been sending this e-girl, this girl who strips on, webcam, a bunch of, like, really dirty, like, provocative, hypersexual, like, he basically wrote a fan fiction, like, saying everything he was going to do to this girl, like, slapping, her ass with his dick.
So this is, like, the biggest of the creepy PMs?
Yeah, like, he sent a lot of them, and she didn't even respond to a bunch of them, and he also sent, like, apparently videos of himself, like, grunting and masturbating in the dark and stuff to her.
Nice.
And then this girl, like, Shay Carl posted, like, a picture or something of his kids, and the girl messaged him and said, "Hey, oh, your daughter's so cute, I wish she was mine." So Shay Carl responded, like, "You're disgusting." And she was like, "What the heck? I just said something nice in the DMs." So she posted all these DMs. Next thing you know, a few hours later, it's covered on Drama Alert, it's covered on Scarce, and Shay Carl, like, retires. He's like, I gotta step away from YouTube. I've had a problem with alcohol for the past 3 months. I've been faking being happy, and I have a sick heart. So a lot of people are like, oh, well, he's kind of passing the blame on alcohol to, like, not cough up to it. But some people, including myself, you know what? I think he admitted to it. And alcohol, I'm an alcoholic, even though I haven't drank for a couple of years now. But I can see, like, it doesn't take a genius to know alcohol makes you do stupid stuff. But at the same time, it's been going on for months. And he's the one who's been reaching out to her. So I feel like, karma's a bitch. And maybe not the nicest thing for her to do. But, he should have thought about that before...
he should have thought about that.
I'm going to go on a limb and say I agree with those people who think it's not alcohol and he's just using it as an excuse. For the reason that it's a lot harder to admit to being a fucking sex predator and being a coercive asshole and just being a all-around cunt. I feel like that guy's situation, you easily just blame that on alcohol, but, like, I don't know, that's kind of beyond alcohol into, like, a realm of just, like, really coercive power play shit with people and, with the sexual shit. That's just a whole other dark, depraved area.
Yeah, no, I agree with that. The funny thing is he's got this really clean, family-friendly image, like he's with his kids and his wife on YouTube doing these vlogs. But it's also, like, this has been going on for months. It didn't just start the other night. He texts her during the day when he's with his family. He texts her in the middle of the night, like booty calls. He texts her drunk, texts her during the Super Bowl. So, like, on one hand... Yeah, alcohol sucks, but on the other hand, it's like, this has been going on for a while. And he sort of, I think he got what was coming to him, really. I mean, when you're that big, you have sort of a responsibility, and you should be like hyper careful with what information you're putting out there.
Well, people see. I this is kind of generalizing, but like a lot of that shit to do with sex offenders, it's like a lot of power play shit. So what that guy was doing with that chick, he was just kind of doing this power play shit. And saying, I'm just assuming that when you're like harassing a person constantly, that's kind of like putting them in a spot where like you're sort of placing them in your life constantly, and it's a weird kind of thing. It's hard to explain.
Yeah, I got you. And I should mention really quick that they were mutually flirting, and she was sending like flirty messages. Really? She sent flirty messages back. Sometimes she thought he was cute.
And getting the fuck off? Like
no, like she thought he was cute and looked up to him. And today on a live stream with Shot from the Point, she said she would have even fucked him if it got to that point. But
I mean, she's a
that changes things. That changes things. Huh. Oh, so she's a deviant.
Yeah, she's the one who encouraged the whole thing, and like he sent her like a novel. You have to see these DMs. Like it's a long conversation that he was just sending messages without any response. And then she sent something like one nice thing that's like totally normal, and he loses his shit.
I bet you got caught cheating after all these years. Yeah, I could pretty much tell you. I mean, if he has 3 kids and his wife and he has to look at the same face every single day, I'm pretty sure he'll get tired. Maybe they didn't spice things up because they were too religious.
I mean, that's not... I don't really want to make that as an excuse. You're still a piece of shit.
Well, yeah, I mean, I'm not excusing anything. I'm just saying, you know, once you have demons and you drink.
I bet people out there... oh, go ahead. Sorry.
I don't... Okay. Obviously, he's the problem. I'm not going to say alcohol is the excuse, because it's not. He knows what he's getting himself into. And, you know, once you mix in emotions with it, it can be a dangerous thing. But he chose to drink and, you know, do all that stuff, so it's really much on him. You can't really use alcohol as an excuse.
And the funny thing is, just recently, there was this conversation on YouTube about forced positivity and how people are, like, faking being happy and if that's ethical or not. And now he, who's this big proponent of positivity, comes out like, I've been forcing this positivity for too long and I'm sick. And I'm sure there's people out there, because he's an outspoken Christian, apparently, who just love the fact that he got exposed to this, you know?
I thought it was a Mormon.
Oh, jeez.
Well,
I thought it was a Mormon.
Maybe someone can fact check that, but all I know is someone was saying he's an outspoken, let's just say allegedly, but outspoken religious person. Either way...
Yeah, he's
got a perception of like this clean family guy, like, I don't know, one of those old sitcoms, like... Tool Time with Tim Taylor or some shit.
I feel like he was. I feel like he kind of was restricting himself. You know, once you have a clean image on YouTube, you do anything you can to like try to preserve that. So he never really got a chance to explore other sides of his creativity. So I guess that's one of the reasons.
I don't think that's a good side of it. I mean, like. There comes a time where you're like, oh, I don't really have a creative outlet. Like, I don't know how you get to that point to be like, yeah, I'm just sliding in the fucking DM, ready to.
Well, I mean, this dude, all he does is just vlog, and that's it. I don't think he ever feel like.
He's got
full time. He's a vlogger. He does it all the time.
Documentary about vlogs.
Yeah, it's another useless genre on YouTube.
Wow.
All he does is vlog. I'm pretty sure it's the most unfulfilling thing ever.
Yeah.
You know, if you're doing that for the rest of your life, you're going to get depressed.
Can be like pretty fulfilling. It just depends on the content, really. He's got almost 5 million subscribers, and he's doing something. He's doing something with his family. He's involved with YouTube, collaborating with people. He sells merch. I mean, he's probably working a ton, But I mean, everybody has their demons, and sometimes when you have a bigger public spotlight, when people find out about it, it just has a little bit more of a repercussion than someone like myself or you guys.
I just don't feel like he was fully fulfilled with the things he was doing, so
there's
that's
always
what
an
probably
underlying
drove
condition
him.
with something like alcoholism. It's not, I mean, there's something that's driving you to drink. I can say from personal experience. But do we have any final thoughts on shaytards, or do we want to get into talking about some relationships or relationship?
Yeah, what was the topic? Like talking about
The topic was, can you be friends with your ex? And I say no, you can't do that shit.
What sparked your interest in this topic? Because you brought it up a couple days ago, and now it's Valentine's Day, so it seems appropriate to talk about it. But is there something that was on your mind, Grapes? Your mind, Grapes.
Who's Grapes?
Leon?
Oh, okay.
Sorry, that's like a 30 Rock reference that nobody's going to get.
I don't watch that show.
Neither do I, really.
Sorry, bro.
Are you referring to the show, or are you referring to the movie with Jack Black?
Yeah.
Oh, Dirty Rock? Oh,
But anyways,
I'm thinking about School
sorry,
of
I'm
Rock.
stupid. I think you can be friends with exes because I am like 90% of my exes 80% of my exes I'm on good terms with.
Man, I don't know, because every time I talk to an ex, they get very like aggressive and stuff like that.
Yeah,
it's hard to be friendly with someone you've been through a lot, and then you're just expecting the same treatment, or maybe even to be even nicer.
The thing. I wouldn't say I'm like
on their side, not my
with
side.
my ex-girlfriends, but I would like feel fine giving them a call or saying happy birthday on their Facebook. In that sense, I'm on good terms with these people, and of course there's one, at least like my last girlfriend from a while back. It was a complicated situation that I could probably get into a little bit. Basically, I was dating this girl at this college back in Illinois. I was in this like English class with her, and the first semester I was like, man, she's really cute, and I made small talk with her, and I actually like was just thought in my head, like, this girl's so cute, I wish I could date her. That semester ended, the next one started. She was in my next English class. She sat right next to me, and we started talking. Right. She's like, hey, do you want to do homework together? Sometimes we started doing homework. Next thing you know, we're like going at it on my couch. And and so we started dating. We started hanging out all the time, and it got really intense really quick, and I started having feelings for this girl. I really loved her. Like, she was so beautiful. She could sing really well. But not too long into it, a couple weeks maybe, she's like, oh, but like, kind of like, oh, I have a boyfriend already. He lives like several hours away.
What the fuck?
But I still like you. And so at this point, I was like already invested in her, and like I liked her, and she was like beautiful, and of course I wanted that pussy. But so I was talking to her, but then we started and apparently she gave me a BJ one night when we had popped some like Vicodins and passed out like drinking. But I don't remember it. So that's the one BJ I don't remember, which I was really bummed out about, because like the next day she's like, I swallowed. And I was just shocked. It was in my car too, which is like the best, because I have sort of a fantasy about car sex or something that gets me excited about it. But
Mandarin, we gotta go out and party.
I don't party anymore. Haven't you heard I'm an alcoholic?
Dan, yeah. It sounds like you've gotten into some crazy shit.
Iceberg.
Yeah, man. When I was in college.
But that's just the tip of the iceberg, man. But anyways, it just got complicated. She was like, I'm going to go out on a date with this rich guy at our school, which is a third guy, right? And she was like telling me this, and I'm like, why are you telling me this? Like, I clearly like you. And like, she was a spoiled rich girl. She had like a nice $150,000 Mercedes. Like, I don't know what the type of car it was, like exact model, but anyways, it got dirty, and I was starting to drink, and we kind of split it off, and like I decided to like make a Twitter account and like tell her boyfriend that like from back home, like, hey, your girlfriend's cheating on you. I was super drunk. I made this Twitter and I told him, and then she's got like mad, like texting me like, hey, I'm gonna call the police. So I freaked out for a while. She didn't call the police, and we still had to go to class together. Keep in mind, so I would like go to class and just like not look at her. This is a small English class, like 20, 30 people in it, and we were working on a project together too at this point. So I had to like continue working with her. It was just like the worst situation. I didn't want to go to class at all. So that's like my one story of an ex that I'm not really friends with. But
not on good terms
I would
with,
like to call her and
apologize,
you know, but it's just like, I don't know. I mean, I don't think I should make a
Why?
Twitter.
You're the one that fucked it up.
My sake, like.
Yeah, I do need to know, man. Like,
on one hand,
I mean, probably like not in the way like getting drunk and doing it. That's probably a horrible idea. But like,
not saying what she did was right, but you know, I knew after a couple weeks that you know she was dating somebody else, and that she might not be as serious as I was. But my reaction going to Twitter, like I didn't even have a Twitter. I made an account to do that. Was just immature, and when I think about it, I cringe because it's just.
I mean, she's the reason why you needed to do it. I mean, she needed to be called out on her bullshit.
Well, that situation is just so fucky in general. Like, I don't know.
She fucked with his feelings, though. That's the thing.
Well, Dan, you kind of fucked up, man. When someone tells you they're dating somebody, that's a red flag right there. You can't like.
It's just that he smashed that boy. He got that pussy.
But like you know, that's another after, man. You can't be doing that.
I thought that
no, but he didn't know until afterwards.
Me, so I was like, I was just like, I was in love with her. Dude. I fell in love with this girl.
Oh man.
Because like I dreamed about this girl the semester before. Like I had dreams about her, like literally, and like she was beautiful, and like I don't have any ill will towards her today. Of course, what she did wasn't good. What I did wasn't good. But I don't have any ill will towards her. I mean, I don't think I'm going to talk to her ever again. But if I did, if she had happened to be listening, I'd say, hey, I'm sorry, I was a dick, you know, and I'm just speaking for myself.
Yeah, well, that's forgiveness, you know.
No, you can't forgive that.
Well, that's what Dan. That's essentially what it is. Forgiveness. Like
Dan, you're too nice. You got.
Okay, let me explain this. Let me explain what forgiveness is. You aren't saying that situation was okay. You're just doing it so you can move on with your life. You know what I'm saying? I was going to make a point earlier about my sort of opinion. Now, I've only dated one person, so, you know, I don't have much experience with this. But my personal experience with it is like when me and my ex broke up, right? And like when we tried to be friends and shit afterwards, I had to get space for a while because I was going through a lot of mental issues at the time. She was cool with it, but I felt like we got back together one time or like started talking about shit, and a lot of it was just like, I don't know if you guys experienced this, like a lot of it was keeping up appearances and almost like everything was sort of a power gambit a little bit of like, oh, how's my life going? Oh, I'm doing a lot better now that I'm not with you. Only I couldn't really say the same because my life was kind of shit at that point. Yeah, you know, I'm working dead end job at Jimmy John's and shit and taking time off of school. And, you know, she's like already in a relationship and like getting internships with like Disney or some bullshit. So like, you know, it's kind of like, but like, I feel like when I'm talking with her, it's sort of like, it's at this point where like, we don't really care about what we're saying or like how each other's lives are going. We're just caring about ourselves and we're just trying to brag about it. And that kind of sucks.
No,
I don't know if you guys experience that.
It's like, for me, it's not like I stayed instantly in touch with some people, but it's like, you kind of want to be like, hey, you like bump into them somewhere, you're walking across campus or wherever you're at. It's like, oh, hey, how's it going? How are things? Like, Yeah, it's good. I got a new job, and it's like hard to talk about anything positive without sounding like you're condescending and like trying to one up them, you know. And it's like, especially when you first break up, you can't just like go straight into like hanging out. I mean, in most cases, I think most people don't just end up being like, yeah, we'll be best friends. We're just not going to fuck anymore, you know.
Right. That doesn't work. I've seen people try to do the whole like, yeah, let's stay friends, like right after relationship. It doesn't fucking work ever.
No, it never works in my cases, or like in many cases. I mean, that's why you call them the ex for a reason.
Right.
You gotta stay away from them.
Yeah. Now let me bring up a situation that makes things complicated, because I've personally dealt with this with my buddies. Me and my crew, there's at one time there was a chick in my crew, right, and she was pretty cool, but she kind of was dating, like, it got to the point where she dated like 3 of my buddies in the same crew, like afterwards. It was sort of this weird kind of thing where like one would break up, then one of them would date her, and then they break up, but it kind of got to a point where like the rest of us were still friends with her. And we're kind of put whoever broke up with her afterwards on the spot, and I feel like they still had to be friends with her. And it was such a weird, complicated situation. I don't know if you guys ever personally experienced that.
Yeah, I have in college. Man, well, I mean, I kind of didn't anyway. It was similar. But man, I didn't know you passed around like a Pokemon card in middle school. It's wild.
Wait, recap that. I was out to lunch for a minute. What were you saying?
That's funny.
Yeah, I was trying to write something down so I didn't forget it, and then I just ended up spacing out.
Okay, so Mark was trading women like Yu-Gi-Oh cards in middle school.
No. This was in college, and my buddies were.
Oh, okay, college. Okay,
like,
so he's playing big boy games.
He was in this friend group, like, where 3 of my buddies sort of just like dated the same girl who was in her group.
Dude, that sounds gross.
Yeah, it was kind of weird. I don't know what it was about it.
You guys were all Eskimo brothers.
Yeah, we're actually talking about that. Like, we actually found about that term. We're like, holy shit, that happened. I actually didn't date her.
Man.
I mean, it might have just been the circumstances. But like, where a lot of us were just personally close with this person, and she evidently was attractive, so that, like, one thing led to another.
It's funny. It's funny when, like,
we always joke about
guys,
that.
like a group of guys. I've been in these situations where a couple of guys are hanging out. They have like one friend who's a girl. And everybody like kind of flirts with her and plays around, and then like one of your friends is like, man, I kind of like her, I think I want to ask her out, and you're like, damn it, I want to ask her out, but you don't.
You know what?
Yeah, go for it. Everybody kind of pretends
she
like
sounds
they don't
like a
her,
whore.
And then, like, it's a funny situation to be in.
Yeah, she's not a hoe. She wasn't a hoe. She was just like.
Sounds you guys were passing her around.
When you put it like that way, but like, I don't know, it was like,
what the fuck?
Just when you kind of personally know the person, like, all these relationships have lasted for at least like 6 months. So we're just like good friends. I don't know, we're just bozos. Like, we're just complete fucking chodes.
So good friends that you guys just passed around a girl.
Well, I didn't. It was only 3, and the time span was significant. Because like at least a year happened in between. At least I remember.
Guys, have any other spicy stories about ex-girlfriends? I got a couple here that are good.
Not really. I've only dated one girl. I'm sorry, you doing the shade here, man. I don't know what's with
what the fuck.
I don't know, man. You're just like giving me creepy vibes.
No topic, Leon. You gotta have some good stories.
No creepy vibes. I don't know what you're talking about. Man, just the couple of exes that I have, we try to be friends, and it never works out because, you expect them to be friendly, and they just get real aggressive. Like, you'll ask them, oh, how was your day? And then go like, oh, what's it to you? And I'm like, whoa, what a bitch. or like, hey, can you help me with, there's this time I needed help with the resume or something, because I wanted to apply for an airport job, and she had connections, so I was trying to help. She was trying to help me get my resume up because she had Microsoft Word on her computer, and I had like a really shitty laptop at the time. And I was like really begging her to help me, and like I was being super nice to her because, you know, I still have feelings for her. And we just recently broken up a couple days. And she said she would help, you know, she offered some of her time, and she would really never get to it. So just probably the third night I asked her to go over my resume and try to get to it as soon as I can, because I don't know if a position is going to be taken up at the airport. She goes like, oh, give me a fucking break. I just got home and stuff like that, and starts yelling over the phone. And I'm like, oh man, what did I do to piss her off? I just wanted a good paying job, you know? I mean, I just want to be her friend, and she over here acts like I like fucking murdered her grandma or something.
Maybe she was pissed at the time. Just didn't really want to like.
No, but I mean, she was seeing somebody else within the last month we were together. And then she broke up with me and then jumped to the other guy. And she was like throwing shade and being very aggressive towards me, and I was just trying to be the nicest. And I was just trying to be more mature at that moment, not trying to like yell back
or anything. There's like a whole game of communication within relationships, like where girls don't always say exactly what they're thinking.
No, I mean,
they'll like want you to know what they're thinking, but it's like, how can you read their mind?
Was this just a particular instance where she was mad at you, or was this like constantly every time you like would talk to her?
Constantly when I would try to talk to her, and then when I like ignore her, she acts all nice and be like, "Listen, it's not okay that I was yelling at you. I'm sorry. I don't know why I'm acting like that." I was like, "You should fucking know. You're the one yelling at me."
Maybe you just got stressed her out. I don't know what to say, bro. It's,
I didn't stress nobody out. I'm telling you, like I'm the most normal person ever.
It's so complicated.
Except for that white supremacist thing I did the last couple of episodes.
What white supremacist thing?
I was like, I'm pretty normal, other than me mentioning I'm a white supremacist last couple of episodes. That was just a joke, but like on some real shit, you guys, like I'm the most friendliest, soft person ever. But it takes a while for me to get pushed off the edge, and since she was like my recent ex, my God, the things I wanted to say to her, but I'll say it off this podcast.
Okay.
I don't want her to be like one day, you know, trying to stalk me and shit.
Yeah. Well, I feel like I don't know. We've all been assholes at some point. There's a reason why.
All right.
Relationships.
Well, if I make it, right? One day, if we make it, I want her to be seeing this, and I want you to know, from the bottom of my heart.
It's very lovely, Leon.
Okay.
Well stated.
Well then. Okay.
We're all about love here and forced positivity on the podcast.
It was a little. That was
it's all about love here on Midnite Snax. But I got to.
Yeah.
I dated this girl in junior high school. It was like my first real girlfriend, and she had strawberry blonde hair. And that was the first time I'd ever heard of strawberry blonde hair. It's like a light red color. And she was so cute. And I'd go over to my friend's house who lived in the city next to my city. We'd skateboard, and like she lived down the street from him, so we'd go like skateboarding over there. And after a while, I started hearing a rumor in the junior high school halls that like she was thinking about breaking up with me. So I got all worried, and I started talking to like her best friend in my science class. And I was like, what should I do? And she's like, I don't know. She might be breaking up with you. I don't know. So I remember hearing about this like old poem back in the day, and I decided to write this girl with the strawberry blonde hair, my girlfriend, a little note to break up with her. So I wrote this little stupid poem that was so dumb. And it said, roses are red, violets are blue, garbage is dumped, and so are you. And I handed her this little note.
Oh, fuck.
During our English literature class. And then I was like super depressed the rest of the day, and that was the end of our relationship. And you know what? I don't know if she would have broken up with me, but if I could rewind time, I probably would have like grown some balls and been like, hey, are you going to break up with me? Because I really did like that girl too. I mean, she was a nice girl and probably doesn't have her life together now, but at the time.
Junior, middle school doesn't count though.
But you know what?
Like that's just awkward social shit.
Real to you, even though I mean, like when you're adults, everything gets complicated. But when you're a kid, it's like I'm in love with you, and it doesn't matter if it's like real love that's going to last forever. It's like I feel like I'm in love with you, and that's real to me. You know?
Yeah. Well, that's just like adolescent, fucking emotional processing. Out the fucking ass.
I don't know. Like, yes, I see that, and maybe it wasn't like the truest love of ever, but you know, when you're a kid, things are real to you, and adults tell you have to be a certain way and think about things in a certain way. But like the only thing that really matters, the only thing that's really real to you is like your subjective experience of this universe. You know, like whatever someone else says, if you can't prove it true in your life, I mean. Of course, you got to consider facts and stuff. Like if you jump off a building, you're going to die. But I think there's something to be said about subjective reality and when it comes to love, because nobody can tell you what you do and what you don't love. And I think when you're a kid, like love is just love. It's not like this complicated thing like, well, is he going to have a good job and pay my bills and feed the dog? And we're going to have 3 kids and a white fence. It's like, no, it's like I want to eat lunch.
Dude, to me, that's like true love. Like you're able to pay the bills, go through hard times with the person, not give a fuck. You know, like that's what actual love is to me.
On one hand, but on the other hand, like love exists in this transcendent ocean outside of time. That's just like this plane of reality, where it doesn't. All those little details and things. I'm repeating myself, but you know what I mean. Like there's this transcendent love. And I think that comes down to the fact that I believe human beings, like any meaning we have in our life, is what we give the meaning to in our life. I mean, like your subjective reality, I mean, you choose what's important and what's not. And like, I don't know, I'm going crazy with a little bit of psychobabble now, so I'll shut up.
I mean, you can try to elaborate how much you want. I don't know. It's hard for me to agree with the adolescent thing because it's just like, personally, I know as a psych student, like adolescents go through a goddamn hormonal machine gun, and their cognition is just so fucked beyond repair. Like, well, not beyond repair, like, but you know, your prefrontal cortex is still growing and developing, and you know, about, like your decision making is not that bright, and like so a lot of
and your mother and your parents or whoever raised you. What about that love? Is that just a hormonal thing?
No, that's different. Here's the thing. So I've actually sort of studied this and taking like a lot of relationships class, and like love is kind of theorized as being a little triangle. And there's like there's like 3 sections. There's like intimate love, passionate love, and commitment love. And no, it's a triangle.
Neither do I.
I don't know what the fuck you're talking about, but okay. But the whole intimacy thing is like almost everyone has that with their friends to an extent. Like your willingness to actually like engage in deep conversations with a person, actually like a built relationship of trust and understanding of another person, almost like a mental connection. Passion is just fucking. You know, like actual, like, you know, the physical aspect to it. And then commitment is like your willingness to commit to a person for a long time and actually deal with problems with them. And so like people have these things in certain relationships in different aspects. And like you can like trace out in this triangle and then figure out where it is. So like a lot of people will have like romantic love, like you had with that one girl who was dating like a lot of guys. You seem to have like a deep connection with her and seem to have a good sex life with her, but at the end of the day, that girl did not feel any commitment towards you at all. Now you may have felt that with her, but she did not feel that with you.
And that's usually the other way around.
And that's kind of the thing, like how it's categorized. Yeah.
with females, I mean, usually
Yeah.
females are the ones that want the commitment, and guys don't. But I feel like most of my relationships
Yeah.
have been sort of that passionate, like love-making relationships. Even though, I mean, like they felt like really,
Right.
and you know, there was some
Romantic.
romance in there. There was some selfless, you know, acts in there. And I dated this girl in college. I was planning to marry her. We dated for like 3 years on and off. I lost my virginity
Yeah.
to this girl in the girls' dormitory on like the top floor. So she started, like, she had this other friend that was a guy that she had met before me that went to the school, and she was like, they're just friends and everything, but she wanted to like go hang out with him. And I was like, just kind of like every once in a while go over there and hang out. And I was like, I don't like you doing that, but I also don't want to feel like I'm this like, you know, super controlling person, you know. But she started going over there and hanging out, and eventually, after like a long story short, we like
Yeah.
broke up. You know, I was making mixtapes for this girl, like custom mixtapes every week, burning them on CDs and like writing all the names and like writing all these love notes to her. And I met her parents and everything. So eventually, very long story short, we broke up, and she started dating this guy. Then she got engaged to him to get married. And then a few weeks like before they were going to get married, I was out in Colorado traveling at my brother's wedding, being the best man there. So she started messaging me on Facebook like, hey, how's it going? What's up? And like kind of like being interested in me. And then she called off this wedding with this guy. And so when I got back from Colorado, I was like, oh, maybe she wants to date. My mom's like, I didn't think she really liked that guy. I think she likes you. So we started hanging out again a little bit. And then eventually, I don't know what happened. Like I was telling her I was like in the beginning of stages of recovery from my alcoholism. So I was like trying to get things right because I think I kind of like, I screwed up a lot of that relationship because of my drinking, you know. But anyways, I was trying to get that right, and I brought her some gifts for her birthday. She like invited me to go to her baptism with her family. But it was like right after she called off this wedding with this other guy, and she's like, you don't have to go, but you know, my family's going to be there, but it might be kind of weird, but you don't have to go. So I was like, you know what, I'm going to give some space and time to this. I don't want to like just rush into it. So I decided not to go. I went and played Frisbee golf with my brother that day at his apartment complex. And then she turned out to be really upset that I didn't go to this baptism, and I didn't realize that she actually really did want me to go. And she kind of just like stopped, just kind of like stopped talking to me because I think she was probably going through some stuff with like not knowing what she wanted, maybe coming out of this engagement.
I mean, she called it a fucking wedding, man.
That was like a relationship where, you know, at the beginning I felt like I screwed up a lot of things because I was just partying and drinking, and I was totally selfish in most regards. But I also did feel like I loved her, but I didn't have that adult commitment, you know, even though I felt like I was committed. But you know what? I think she's a really sweet girl. She was really nice if she was listening to this. I could still say that I do love her, you know, in a way, but it's just complicated. You know, I don't think about her every day, but when I do think of her, I think of the good things.
It's hard for me personally because I'm like my ex. I was in a 2-year relationship. I went through a lot with this girl, right? And when you mentioned selfless acts earlier, it kind of occurred to me like I did a lot for this chick. I think when they're like, everything was going okay. Like everything was good, then everything was okay, but I was willing to put up with it until she moved to Boston. I live in Columbus. And she wanted to do long distance, and I'm not the kind of personality type that does long distance at all, like, or can deal with it. And I didn't know how to respond because like we've been dating for a year at that point, like almost a year and a half. And I didn't know what to do. I knew in my gut, this is not a good idea whatsoever. And she was like, oh, come on. Well, I can't live with the idea of not knowing all this shit. And I was like, well, fuck. Like, you know, I felt too pressured to go into it. And like my buddies tried to talk me out of it multiple fucking times. like the summer after, like when she moved, and I got dragged to it. Next thing I know, I'm up at 4 a.m. each night talking to her on Skype because we can't fucking hang out anymore. And she's super like, needs that emotional connection. I just couldn't keep up with my schoolwork and shit. And that's when I dropped out of school. But like, it just felt like I just was cutting a part of myself off, like having to amputate like a part of myself just to keep the relationship going. And I did a lot for her at some point. Like I saved her life for one point. She almost committed suicide. It's like things got rough. Like so I had a really deep connection with her, and it's like, it sucks. I don't know if she actually was going to attempt suicide. My buddy tries to tell me like, oh, she wasn't actually going to do it. Like not to diminish what you did, but like, cause like, I remember she like called me, was like upset. So like, I'm in a parking garage and I had to drive over and, go pick her up and shit. And it sucks going from that to like the last time I saw her, she just looked at me like I was a fucking ghost and just like walked away. Like, just the most dehumanizing stare I could ever receive from a person. It's just weird going from that point. And like, I feel like I can't even go in relationships now because of that, just like how strong that was. And like, I'm constantly going to compare everything to that relationship.
You definitely learn a lot.
It was really tough, and I went through a lot of shit. If you were like to measure my stress levels around the time we broke up, it'd be astronomical compared to like the rest of my life. I was not having a good time. And then, like, I'm very fucking bitter about like a lot of things around that happened to it.
It's a learning process. And
relationships are weird, man.
The interesting thing is, like, when you get into a relationship,
what the fuck you gonna do?
It's like whatever happens in that relationship's gonna probably teach you something about yourself, and maybe the beliefs you have about yourself, and what your parents instilled in you, and the way you were raised. And for someone like myself, my like alcoholism and things, like, and the way I acted in relationships, looking back on it, I can see. The way some of the events of my, traumas of my past were, affecting my ability to have an intimate relationship and not understand and feeling like immature, and it can get kind of messy.
Yeah. Especially when you're dealing with that shit. And I was like 19. At the time. So like, I was like 19, had just turned 20, and then probably about a month later I had broken up with her. So like, I dealt with a lot of that crazy shit when I was 19. That's fucking insane for someone that age. Like, I don't know. If I had a son who was going through the same thing, I'd be like, dude, you need to like focus in school, get the fuck out of that relationship.
Probably don't last.
I don't know. It's crazy, man.
I'm not sure what relationship this is for Shay Carl. But we'll see if his wife cuts ties with him or not, because she definitely could, and maybe there wouldn't be a family vlog anymore. It'd be cool if he started vlogging his descent into alcoholism, into madness.
Yeah. Oh God, no, absolutely not. Have you seen? I don't know if you've seen this shit. This guy was like a vlogger, I think. I forget his name. He was like a YouTuber, right? And he had a decent following, like at least 100,000 subscribers. And he like had some fucked up shit going on with his girlfriend. His girlfriend had cheated on him. He even has a video out there. It was like asking her like why she did it. And like the first thing comes up, and this is like super cringe factor. He has a like little snippet, and the little intro is like, was his dick bigger than mine? I'm like, oh no, don't fucking ask that, man. What the fuck is wrong with you? Like, this dude was like, he was a weird thing, because like, she ended up being like his fucking baby mama and shit. So it was like, of course they were going to stay in the shit. Like I guess they had an obligation to, or at least felt like it. So it was just like a really fucked up situation watching this shit. I can't I can't stand. Like, if that dude were to like start documenting his like fucking
I was just
family
joking,
like falling apart, I just
it's not
I would not want to watch that shit
that
at all.
matters. It's what the magician
it's
can
too
do.
depraved for me.
Is Leon? Are you still there, Leon? You've been like dead. Did we hurt your feelings?
Yeah, it's true.
Okay.
It's true.
Monk.
Yeah. No.
Word.
Leon's been listening like a calm Buddhist.
We are about 45 minutes in. This is going to take a long time to remember.
Yeah.
Should we wrap it up?
He's been
Anybody got
digesting the material.
About relationships?
Oh fuck! I was actually about to tell a funny story. When you
go
mentioned
ahead,
the love triangle thing, you think that triangle is fucked up? My cousin, he told me the funniest. Yeah, like my cousin, he told me the funniest story. Like I always like to tell my buddies this. Like, this is like the worst breakup story I could ever imagine. I've ever heard. And he was telling me this shit, and he's like, "Yeah, dude, this thing with Kate, right? That it got really fucked up." And like, so he's like, this girl was just she was really abusive and shit, and like was going back and forth between him and this other guy who was really into drugs and shit and heroin and all kinds of shit.
Nice.
And so like she's going back and forth between him and this other guy, and it got to the point where the dude fucking dies, and the guy like heroin, he like actually fucking OD'd, and she like just fucking rebounds back to him. He's just like, "Oh no, not anymore. We're done now." Like, he's just like, so just imagine, like, you never had, like, I can't imagine a breakup story just involves a person's death in the mix. And like, yeah, and like I remember he's like, "Oh my god, dude, that's fucking messed up." He's like, "Yeah, man." Really
I've seen quite a few of my friends.
All right, let's go get some milkshakes, guys.
Overdose on heroin and died the last few years. It's pretty crazy. The town I come from had a big heroin problem, and probably like 6 people I know over the last few years have overdosed.
Holy shit! Really?
Some people that I used to go to the skate park with and like talk with at lunch and stuff. Like, so heroin, and when you get drugs involved, that's like a whole another layer of craziness with relationships, and it's just like gunpowder waiting to blow up. But I think that's about all the time we got. Yeah. All right, so Leon, keep it rolling for a couple seconds because it tends to cut off for some reason at the end here. I'm gonna go in and like patch this section out of it, and then I'll like record a little tiny intro. But coming back on the air now. All right, guys, so that's all the time we have for tonight. My name's Dan. You can find me on Twitter at Mandoreen. Hello? Yeah.
I'm Funky Mark. I don't really am, social media savvy, but you can follow me on my Twitter as well. And then there's Leon.
Yeah, Mark doesn't tweet a lot, so there's no point. Yeah, I'm Leon Encore. There will be content on my YouTube soon. I'll update this podcast as soon as I upload something. So see you guys. Thank you. Please like and subscribe.
Ice cream comments. I think we got one last time, and it was from Leon. But yeah, that's Midnite Snax. Make sure you leave the program open so it finishes recording. All right, good night and good luck.
Oh, yeah.